is a sprint race, to be honest. With the it was interesting actually. I think it was Tom Christensen I read an interview about recently, and he said that just about 95% of the Le Mans races that he's done has been sprint. So obviously when he first came to Le Mans, there was probably a little bit of reliability issue, but nowadays with the engineering levels and the technology, they can just effectively drive flat out.
So if you're just joining us, 8:30 here in Europe, it's 7:30 at home. It's beautiful weather in Britain, we're hearing, and barbecue night. And those of you in Quainton having a barbecue tonight, watching Eurosport, enjoy every moment of the coverage here. Martin Haven, Mark Cole, me, and Damien Faulkner, our star driver turn. And Martin, any thoughts so far?
Lights out on the safety cars. Yes, just a very quick question, actually. Renko on Formula One was asking, on Twitter rather, was asking, why did Lotus not fix the car in the pit lane? And the easy answer is very straightforward. Same reason Alpine haven't fixed their problems in the pit lane. On pit road, you allowed no more than 2 people working on the car, no matter what. So 2 people changing tyres, 2 people doing fuel, 2 people doing anything else. Anything other than changing tyres and doing fuel, straight back in the garage, throw all the men you need at it. And that's the reason. It's just to stop people lying in the road with their legs sticking out in the fast lane. Basically, it's for safety. Lights are out on the safety car. Well, we say in America, cautions breed cautions. Now then, let's see if this safety car driver thinks that he is in fact driving an S1 Quattro short wheelbase rally car, and whether he peels down the pit road or hoons across the grass without even bothering to look to see if anybody's coming in behind him. This time he actually uses the tarmac. I wonder if Eduardo Freitas had a brief word in his radio ears. Here we go. We are racing once more. Green, green, green at Le Mans.
And it's the number 1 Audi, Benoit Trullier, who's got the jump on everyone this time, because, of course, his teammates in the 3 and 2 cars, who are they were about 60 seconds behind at the last time we looked. They are caught up in traffic, but everyone's starting to peel out now, those who got left behind. And just looking at P2 at the moment, the 26 car, that is the second of the factory Nissan G-Drive Delta AM Rumball and docking. Roman Rusinov on board that. He's a silver driver. John Martin, of course, the Australian, very, very much a gold driver. And Mike Conway, a rookie. So he's a bronze driver, IndyCar racer, but a bronze driver, because until you've served your time in sports car racing, you don't move up the ladder.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that, but that's the rules. I shouldn't think Mike Conway will take long to become a gold or platinum, such as the level he races at. So.
Yeah, there might be a few people that sort of raised an eyebrow and go, really? An IndyCar racer? What does he know? Well, actually, do you know what? He knows fast. And there's a lot of drivers that have come into sports car racing from all sorts of different single-seater categories. Some fare really well, some don't fare quite so well, but Conway has hit the ground running, hasn't he? Hello to Sam Bird. He said, talking about Kirsten, the commentator, he said, I may not come sports car racing. I am his official jinx. Every time I commentate on him, he fails to win and his car breaks down.
Well, of course, poor Sam Bird. He was due to go to the junior Formula One test of Mercedes, and Mercedes' penalty for Tiregate at Barcelona is they're not allowed to test, so Sam will not get that chance.
Well, I didn't commentate on that, so I'm afraid Birdie can't hold me up for that. Yeah. Also, Simon Holohan saying that the reason LED lights on the back of cars as the Star 8 car comes down the Mulsanne with a flat tire, in fact that's heading up towards Indianapolis, the reason that the LEDs on the back seem to be strobing is because of the interface between LED lights frequencies and HD television camera frequencies. So thank you very much to Simon Holohan, an ex-LED lighting designer. I love our audience.
Oh,
they
great.
are just
we got them all, haven't we?
Knowledgeable.
Incidentally, that orange Star 8 Motorsports Ferrari that went by, Vincenti Potoliccio, who is, we've got another one. That's just, has he hit something, or is that just a spin? No,
I think he's just spun, and he's trying to get it going again, or waiting.
Yeah, he's okay.
Waiting on traffic to go past.
Here it comes. A bit messy, wasn't it? Oh, right in the middle of the pack. Oh dear. That's definitely what you call spat out, isn't it?
He might have been. He might have been helped on that one. It's difficult to know, but there was a train of cars there.
So I was just mentioning 8 Star Motorsports Potoliccio, who's last year's LMP2 winner with Starworks. He has covered that car in United Sports Car stickers to promote next year's American GT Championship, which you hopefully will be in.
Yeah, I saw that actually and wondered what the reason was behind it, but that's great. It's leading up to be gearing up to be a fantastic championship. It's got some incredibly important people and influential people like Jim France and the France family involved, of course, of NASCAR.
And should have the cream of all North American sports car racing in terms of drivers, teams and equipment, you know.
Of Irish descent, I must add.
Well, some.
As is Don Panos.
Well, Don Panos, yes, of course, with all his businesses in Ireland over the years, the nicotine patches,
Elan,
and Scott Atherton's here as well. They're all here. They know just how important Le Mans is.
And of course, Deco will be beyond excitement, won't he? Declan Brennan.
So huge history there. And talking of huge in history, standing right behind us in the commentary box at this moment is Hugh Chamberlain.
Oh, my word.
So, Damien, could you just make way for Hugh for a minute and we'll have a quick wordle with him?
Very quickly, also random question from Indipal Verdi on Twitter. Apologies about pronunciation. Says, do we know who drives the safety cars? Well, apparently somebody who thinks they're Hannu Mikkola, but other than that, no, we don't. Star 8 Ferrari still on the way back. And this orange Ferrari has all the hallmarks of a car that is intent on spending a lot of time in the garage. And that is something about which Hugh Chamberlain knows a very great deal. Huge, a veteran team owner here. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or have seen very little sports car racing, Hugh Chamberlain has been coming here, well, since his glory days in the Group C era as a team owner. Jeremy Shaw was just talking earlier on about you running Clubman's cars for him in the early 1980s. Hugh, you've been involved in motor racing almost as long as you've been involved in rugby.
Yes, I have to admit that I packed up the rugby a lot before I packed up the motorsport, that's for sure. And don't understand about the beer. Don't know
you
about
haven't packed that up yet, that's all.
Well, I haven't packed, no, that's true.
Well, I said to him earlier, I said, oh, I see you here wearing Chamberlain's Synergy Motorsport jacket. Is it all back on? He said, no, it's bloody raining.
They're very good jackets, that's what it is. Why wouldn't I wear it out?
Yeah, let's just have a quick word about Small, your wife. She's just won gold again at Chelsea, so congratulations. Well, you must be very proud.
Yeah, let's get this right. She works with other people and they together.
Yep.
As a conglomerate.
Doesn't matter. She's a landscape gardener. We should explain to everyone. But that's not the first era, is it?
No, it's 3 in a row now.
3 in a row.
I'm damn glad I don't have anything to do with gardening. Otherwise, how to keep up with the other half. It'd be terrible.
Well, does the gardening pay for your motorsport then? Or?
I wouldn't even dream of suggesting anything so silly. No. Not at
anyway, all those who know Small and Hugh and listening tonight, here he is, larger than life as always. Hugh, what's on the horizon for you?
Well, one of the reasons I keep on going back here is, apart from the fact that I like it, for some peculiar reason, is that everybody one wants to see and talk to and find out what's going on is here at Le Mans, and Le Mans is the sports car race in the world. It is the sports car race to come to every year. And yes, of course I'm doing something, but I can't, as ever, it still isn't completed, and therefore I can't tell you very much about it. But it's all being well, it'll be a prototype, and it'll be announced in the.
But all the people who remember Chamberlain racing, I mean, you won here. You won the last year of the FIA Cup, didn't you? Which was
I did.
What, C2?
Group C, yes. It was a Spice with the Cosworth engine.
With Ferdinand de Lesseps.
Ferdinand de Lesseps, indeed. Yeah. And that was Count Ferdinand de Lesseps, I believe.
Yeah, whose grandfather, or great-great-grandfather, of course, built the Suez Canal.
Dug canals. Probably didn't do very much about digging, but he thought it was a good idea. So, yeah, that was a Spice.
Hugh, you won't tell us much, but will it be prototypes? I mean, you've always been a prototype man,
Yeah, all being well, we're definitely talking about prototypes.
Yeah, I can't really see you running a Porsche or something, a GT Porsche. You know,
they're foreign, old chap.
They are.
Come on. You can't do that.
Yeah. So, Hugh, what's your impression so far of the race?
Well, apart from the obvious sadness, they're very, very quick.
Yeah.
The more you look at them, the quicker they get, and it's scary. I'm glad I haven't got a car in some ways.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a short break.
Yeah.
Don't go, Hugh. We'll be back with you to have a chat about more things in just a moment. Stay with us here live.
on pit road. Probably the longest lap he's had to do. Even coming around Bathurst with a flat won't have been as long as that for Jason Bright. He gets the Star 8 Motorsport Ferrari back with minimal damage. Picked up a puncture exiting the Tertre Rouge onto the Mulsanne straight. It's a very, very long way to come back. The better part of 6 miles on that puncture. So he comes back in, and the team will push him back immediately into the garage, because Hugh Chamberlain, you can confirm this, 2 people maximum working on the car on the pit apron, correct? For any reason whatsoever.
That's right, yeah. So for the sort of damage that had, although it was hopefully majority was just bodywork, you'd have to get it in the garage, and then you can have anybody you can get around the thing and work on it. But of course the sad thing is we couldn't see here. We don't know how badly damaged, if at all, the suspension was.
Well, I mean, you know, whatever else, they'll get it back in the garage, and they will have spare corners, spare parts all ready to go, hubs and corners. The Jota team in for a pit stop. Who was at the wheel of this? Lucas Luhr stays in. So I think this is his 3rd stint after taking over from Oliver Turvey. We are 5 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's on the P2 podium at the moment, running in 3rd. Just ahead of him, Martin Plowman. We just saw a snatch of him in the Oak car before this shot, and then ahead of him, Roman Rusinov.
In fact, change of driver to Simon Dolan, so the boss takes over in the car, or the main financial backer of the car. So Michel Frey now moves up to 3rd place. I think that's the first time that 34 car has been in a podium finish. That's the race performance Orica Judd. Michel Frey sharing with Patrick Niederhauser and Jerome Blakeman. I'll take that back. They have been in the top 3. But Hugh Chamberlain, one thing, of course, that the safety car does is it separates some battles, but it bunches up a lot of cars. And so for the first 10, 15 minutes after a safety car has come back in, you have all sorts of cars out of place and much closer together than they might otherwise be doing, trying to get by each other.
Yeah, it's mayhem, or can be, because obviously they're all having their own battles. And it's terribly difficult if you've got a guy out there who's not as experienced as some. Not that I'm suggesting anybody is behaving badly, but if they weren't as experienced, they could cause a major problem if they're quicker than the car behind in some places, like in the straight or whatever. So it is a problem like that.
Yeah, looking here at the battle for 2nd in the GTE class, Peter Dumbrek is leading in the 97 Aston Martin, 1 minute and 35 seconds in front of that battle you just looking at. Richard Leeks in the Porsche, and Bruno Senna having his first run in the Aston 99. Right behind him, Senna, of course, between single-seaters and Formula One, went for a year and raced in the Le Mans series, so he's got prototype experience as well. On board with the Porsche is Senna, drafting up behind the Oak Racing Morgan. Is he going to get alongside? Are we going to see the nose of the Aston appear? Look at the vibration on the car there as he's in the slipstream. Senna is alongside. He's got the move. And Hugh, good racing thinking. Saw a slipstreaming opportunity. The Porsche was dead in the water. He had nowhere to answer.
Absolutely. It's very good to see competitive driving that is also clean, because very often you find that people force themselves past in ways that you wouldn't really like to see in your own car, but particularly if you owned it and paid for it.
So we're back to Aston Martin 1-2 in Pro then. Peter Dumbrek, of course, debuted here in 1999, flew the Mercedes. Yeah.
Mark Lieb, we always knew it would be a tough challenge against Aston Martin, but so far it looks like the Porsche team number 92 is taking that fight quite well.
Yeah, we had a good start and a good first stint, and everything was going quite well so far. So we lost a little bit of time at the beginning. We had some sensor problem in one of my stints, but then we were fighting back. Romain just did a triple stint on tires, so it's looking good.
Great, and where do you see the biggest gains against Aston Martin, or the biggest losses so far?
Well, it looks like we have the better top speed on the straight lines. But the Aston is very good through the Porsche corners, and there we lose a lot of time, but we gain a lot of time on the straight line, so it's a back and forth all the time.
Great, good luck, thank you.
A very timely interview with the driver of the number 92 car, which we just saw lose the place to Bruno Senna, 2nd in that GTE Pro class. But of course, getting in front with the slipstream help of the Oak Racing Morgan Nissan is one thing. Staying in front of factory Porsche driver Richard Leeks may be an entirely different thing. The Austrian with a lot of experience of Porsches over the years, and Bruno Senna Well, he's not got as much knowledge of this Aston Martin, perhaps, but he got in front, keeps his nose in front at the moment. The Toyota's coming up hard behind. Just to recap some positions, with just a little over 18 hours to go, so nearly a quarter of a way into this race, and, gee, only the 3 safety cars so far. Audi 1, 2, 3 in order number 1, 2, 3. Then Toyota 8, Toyota 7, they're 4th and 5th. The Rebellion Toyotas, a Rebellion Lola chassis with Toyota engines, are 7th and 9th, and between them is the Stracker HPD. That is your LMP1 class. 10th overall, I beg your pardon, 9th overall. And leading in the LMP2 class is Roman Rusinov from Martin Plowman and Simon Dolan, who's just taken the Jota car back out, and Michel Frey, who moved up to 3rd, as we see Jack Gerber again, I think, spinning that South African liveried Ferrari. Yeah, Michel Frey got into 3rd place overall, or rather in LMP2, as Lucas Luhr pitted. Simon Dolan has now been given the place back as Michel Frey has pitted. In the GTE Pro class, it is Peter Dumbreck clear of this battle between Bruno Senna, the first car on your screen, and the 3rd car flashing its headlights. That is Richard Lietz. That is Aston Martin versus Porsche. In the GTE AM class, Pier Giuseppe Perezzini, who we saw, don't weave like that. Ah, that's why the Ferrari. Well, again, you see Hugh Chamberlain's with us. Hugh, sometimes you can be too much of a gentleman. The golden rule, if you're being caught, is stay on the racing line. It's safer for everyone.
Absolutely. Make yourself your own...
It just frightened him off the road. Hugh, we talked about prototypes. I mean, you were involved in Group C for many, 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 many years. All sorts of programs. How do you feel about Porsche coming back next year with the LMP1s?
You would never bet against them. I've played against Porsches all the time, and they keep on making cars that finish. And they're very, very strong. They're bound to be quick. I mean, when they came back into LMP2 some years ago, they just wiped the floor with everybody. But they were very, very good. Whether or not the new one is, because I don't know too much about the technical advances they have and what they're going to be using, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was competitive from the first race.
I mean, obviously what we do know, it'll be mid-engine, whatever it is, because that's what Porsche want. They want to have a mid-engine car again, something with direct fuel injection that they can just take on everybody.
Yeah, well, the only thing that made me open my eyes a bit was when I first saw the picture of it. It looked a bit strange at the front to me, so I'm not quite sure that I presume it may be well be four-wheel drive. But the aerodynamics, it looked very high at the front. So we'll see. I don't know what it is until we have a look at it. And
it looked a bit Peugeot-ish if you took all that black and white sticky tape off it.
Yeah,
it did look rather as if it got a plastic bodywork, and it was pretending to be something else being driven through the Arctic Circle.
Well, apart from the guppy-mouthed Audi, most prototypes look the same as each other, don't they? Listen, Hugh, a couple of people on Twitter saying, any chance of the words Chamberlain and Viper being uttered in the same sentence? You got a little bit of a hankering to go back to a very happy partnership?
I was having a long conversation with Bill Riley the other day.
And when you discovered they're £300,000?
Yeah, it's not Hugh's money. Hey, listen, there's nothing you can run here that's going to come cheap, right?
I think that's pretty safe. That's a safe bet. No, I can tell you that we have not done a deal about running a Viper, but we were chatting, and they have no idea whether they're going to do a customer program at all.
Mark Genet, you had very little time in practice and qualifying to get a really good dry setup. Now we've got a dry track. Are you happy with how the Audi's handling so far?
Yeah, from what I hear from the drivers, they are quite happy. It was just very difficult at the beginning, but it was the track conditions. They all did a good job not making any mistake. And so far now so good. And now that the air is a bit cooler, you know, they are doing the fastest lap time, so it's okay so far.
And what's going to be the plan with the tires for the rest of the night? Will it be quadruple stints so far?
Yeah, at least quadruple stints. That's what we are aiming for. We'll see, because there's two types of tires, and we may change to another type. But yeah, the target is 4 stints.
Thanks very much.
who does not love the sound of an onboard? What a great piece of onboard footage. Just thought you'd like to enjoy that without us twittering over the top of it. That Toyota hounding down the Mulsanne Straight, and look at this. Just one of the, everybody talks about the Beckett's S's at Silverstone for single-seaters. The Porsche, can you imagine what a fully lit Formula One car would look like through the Porsche curves? It's such a stunning set of corners. The Audi, number 2, lying in second place. Fastest second sector of the entire race for Loic Duval, who is right on it with just over 6 hours to go here at Le Mans. Welcome back to Eurosport's live coverage of 24 hours of Le Mans, and as the temperature starts to drop, air temperature cools, density comes into the air, fastest laps popping up. Loic Duval, we just saw him in the Porsche curves a moment or two ago talking about how quick he was going. He set the fastest lap of the race, 3:23.268, and now Benoit Trellier answers with a 3:25.4, including a faster second sector than Loic Duval even managed that time round. And the pole time 3:22.3 by Loic Duval, so they are 9/10 off pole. Loic Duval, 9/10 of a second off pole. We've still got 18 hours to go. I got very excited saying we've 6 hours to go. Of course, we've 6 hours gone in 3 minutes. Martin Haven with Mark Cole, and alongside me also Damien Faulkner, at Damien Faulkner on Twitter. He loves new followers, so follow him. And Damo,
I have 100 new ones since yesterday.
I know. A couple of people asking, fantastic. Are we expecting Toyota to catch up? In a straight speed fight,
no,
they're not losing a lot more ground, but they don't look like they've got pace to catch Audi.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, you know, from the warm-up this morning, obviously, we saw something different, something new. We had a Toyota that was fastest, and that was a complete upset, really. And I'm sure maybe there was a few heads that had been scratched at Audi. And then, of course, early in the race, they were really, really strong. But after that safety car period, both of them seemed to drop back, and subsequently they've just they've just sort of continually lost pace relative to the Audi each lap. So I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, you've just seen two of the Audis there go, you know, really fast, putting in some fantastic laps. And I mean, I don't know, I think they're just in cruise control, those Audis. I really do.
The problem is, Mark, even if Toyota go 2 laps longer on fuel, which they might be able to do, they might save 1 pit stop or 2 pit stops. Even if they save 3 pit stops, that's still only, what, 3 minutes maximum?
Yeah.
And so they can't be more than 3 minutes behind the Audis, you know, with 2 or 3 hours to go, because they're going to fit that number of pit stops in. So,
and they're running 4 or 5 seconds off the Audi pace. So
yeah, they're just not quite close enough.
translate that into 300 laps plus, and you know, as you say, who knows though? I mean, anything can happen, Martin. It's,
look, now, I'm going to answer a question now immediately, because to see the man on the right there, they just said they plug something into the back of the Audi during the pit stops. What is it? Well, they plug something into the back of, or into all the cars during the pit stops. What is it? It's a compressed air line. You plug it in, and it then pushes the jacks down, which lift the car up into the air. The other thing he was holding, the little wire with the crocodile clip, that is an earth lead, so there are no static sparks when they are refueling the car, because that is going to cause an explosion. That's why you should never wear a nylon shell suit in a petrol station, because a spark from that will set off petrol vapor. So that's what they plug in. Sometimes on the back of a prototype car it will go in the back, and the GT car, quite often it goes into a little nipple on the front wing. But Damien, you know, that's absolutely standard. Onboard air jacks are run by compressed air, and when it's released, then the car drops down immediately and the jacks retract out of sight.
Yeah, and of course they can't hold the compressed air in the car. The compressed air has to be held in tanks, obviously, in the garage. They're not allowed to have their own system in the car. So it's just basically, you know, jacks, normally 3 jacks actually, well, 3 in a Porsche anyway, that jack the front of it up, and the complete car to allow them. And then there's just a quick release, which one of the mechanics will pull, and the air will just blast out, and it'll immediately drop, and away they go.
Patrick O'Brien in Ireland says he's going to stay up all night and watch with us. Can we give him a quick mention? No chance of that, I'm afraid. Benoit Trellier, another fastest second sector, really charging. Now you see, the pole car, number 2, on pit road now. The leader, number 1, on pit road now. This is an absolutely level, knockdown, drag-out knife fight. These 2 guys now and their teammates think that they, and not the number 3 car, are going to be battling for the win. Of course, we've got 18 hours, or 17 hours, 59 minutes, a lot of weather, a lot of safety cars, a lot of accidents, lots of other things perhaps in the way. But right now, they're about half a minute apart, and they are going at it at near lap record pace.
Well, while we're cycling through the pit stops, we're just being joined by Nicolas Grube from Michelin, and he's going to tell us something about the tyres. Damien, if we could just let...
Well, once more, another Audi stop goes flawlessly. Just incidentally, on the 2 people working on the cars, you see 2 people doing the fueling. You'll see only 2 men ever changing the tyres. You're not allowed anymore. The one exception for safety reasons is you can have a driver helper during the driver change in the pit stop, or to clean a windscreen of a GT car. After 6 of our 24 hours, Audi lead the Le Mans 24 hours in its 90th anniversary year. 1, 2, 3 cars, 1, 2, 3. Toyota giving chase and hoping somewhere that playing the long fuel card will help them. LMP2 leader back with John Martin, the man for most of qualifying had pole. 99 Aston Martin, the pole sitter in the GTE Pro class, is still in front of the Pro class, being chased by teammates and Porsches. And in the GTE Am class, as you get to the next page of your screens, it's Pier Giuseppe Perezzini's Ferrari, the number 55 car, that leads from Gianluca Roda's Porsche, and Jean-Carl Vernet's Porsche, another rookie. He lies in 3rd position. Well, of course, one of the huge supports for any kind of motor racing comes from tyre companies like your own road car. Nobody can move without the support of a tyre company, and one of the most successful in motorsport is Michelin. So welcome to
Nicolas Grube. Yeah.
Nicolas Grube back to Le Mans, and of course to the Eurosport booth, and thank you very much for continuing to come back.
And there it is, the magnificent new Michelin scoreboard. Well done, Nicolas.
To bring beer, and of course to bring how many thousand tyres here?
Around 6,000 tyres. for the 37 cars we're partners with.
Now, of course, what you have to anticipate is that it's going to be extremely hot and very hard work on tyres and bring enough for an entire race for the entire field, and also that it's going to be completely wet throughout the race and bring enough of those tyres and everything in between, so you can offer the hopefully perfect choice for the perfect conditions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly what you said. Basically, you know, among the 6,000 tires we've brought here, we're going to use maybe only 2,000, but we have to get ready for all conditions. And I mean, this year is a good example. You know, from the first 3 or 4 hours, you didn't know how the weather was going to be for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And well, that makes the racing interesting, but that's a nightmare when the drivers have to pick up the right tires.
And what, Nicholas, what we've seen and what our audience has seen is that Audi are quadruple stinting your tyres this evening. That's the first 4 hours of the race. OK, we had safety car, but to get 4 stints out of tyres, that is so impressive.
Yeah, we're very, very happy with that. And it showed very really that they were confident, because, you know, usually what they do is you start by doing a conservative choice, you know, deciding to start with maybe 3 stints, then look at the tires, and then do 4 and then 5. But this time, as they were very confident, then they went straight away from 4 stints. So that's a really good thing.
So could you get 5 in the night when it's cooler?
Yeah, I think it would be okay on the Audi. Of course, it's very difficult afterwards, you know, for the driver, because they have to stay in the car for 5 stints. And whether or not they want to take the risk, I mean, it would be their decision, but the tires can definitely handle it.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back as well, because I've got so many more questions I want to ask you, not least relating to the very beginning of the race, when we saw what seemed to be a different balance of pace between Audi and Michelin, and you may not be able to tell us secrets out of class, but I want to know if they were on the same tyre strategy. Briefly, at the beginning, were the Audis and the Toyota both on the same tyre, do you know?
No, they were not. I'll tell you later on.
Okay, it did look definitely as though the Michelin had a bit more wet grip. Maybe they went with the intermediate. We'll come back, a quick commercial break, and we'll talk more about tyres right after this, live on Eurosport. Welcome back to Eurosport and our coverage of the Le Mans 24 Hours 2013. Wherever you're watching across Europe, across the Asia-Pacific region, hello if you're watching on Eurosport Asia. Very glad to have you with us throughout the day, night, wherever it is, wherever you are, night here, day there, one of those. We've got our Michelin man, not Ben Wiz, but Nicolas with us. Listen, just briefly before the break, we touched on a question that a lot of people have asked, and we were asking ourselves. Chris Finch on Twitter, one of those, saying, what was the explanation for Toyota's early pace in the beginning of the race in mixed conditions? We guessed that there was a difference in tyre choice on the grid between Audi and Toyota, and you can confirm that, can you?
Yeah, you were right. I mean, basically, Audi picked up, we have 3 different offers as far as slick tires are concerned. One of them is intermediate slick that nobody picked up to start with. And then the other 2 is, one of them is made to be used mostly when the temperatures are quite high or during the daytime, and the other one is made with for lower temperature range. And basically the Audi picked up the one for daytime, and Toyota made the opposite choice, to go for the one for lower ground temperature, and it paid off because, as you said, I mean, the Toyota were really competitive to start with. And it's because they had a different tire choice. They knew that if it was going to be 100% dry and with higher temperature on the ground, it would be more difficult for them as it is right now.
Yep. So they didn't go for your slick immediate. They went for the nighttime tire, essentially.
Yes. Yeah, okay. That's it. But then, after a while, then Nicolas Lapierre on the Toyota number 7 switched tires to go to the slick intermediate. And he was lucky and unlucky, because when he just did the tire change, the following lap, he gained about 15 seconds compared to all the other guys. But then the rain stopped. So at the end of the day, he kept that tire for 2 stints.
Yep.
And he did gain nearly 2 seconds a lap, average. But sometimes 10 seconds, sometimes losing time. So it's really a gamble. You never know what's going to happen in the following 20 or 40 minutes, and you have to make a gamble if you want to be in front.
Listen, we talked about the number of tires you bring here. You bring 6,000 tires for the cars that you're supplying, and you will take home at least 3,000 tires that you're unused.
4,000, yeah.
Okay, now everybody else will go, yeah, well, that's not a problem because you just bring them back here, but next year, but you don't, because tires are like wine; they go off, right?
Yeah, actually, wine, you can keep wine longer than tires.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
can't drive so fast with wine, though.
No, we cannot bring the same tires again next year, because we keep evolving. It's a discipline where you have to do constant tire design, and as the cars are changing every time, you have to keep up with the evolution, the car evolution, and especially for next year, as you know, I mean, the rules are going to change drastically, and the tire size is going to be way different. We're going to lose more than 2 inches in width, which is a big difference, and it will be a big challenge for the tire, because we expect the speed of the car to be more or less equivalent. I mean, the FIA is saying that the car will be slower, but we don't believe them yet.
But they always say that.
We have another 5 WEC races. You can use these tyres for those races, or
yes,
are they specific to Le Mans?
Some of them we might, but not everywhere. What we do is we bring different tyre choice at all the venues. So some of the choices we'll have here, we'll have other places as well, but we know that some other places we need completely different stuff. So
yeah. Now we've got a Twitter question for you here. Someone's asking, what did you give Toyota for the warm-up?
For the warm-up this morning, that was actually a surprise.
It was for us.
Yeah, and I can tell you it was a surprise for Toyota people as well. So. No, I think in the warm-up, it's really down to the drivers which safety margin they want to take, and my guess is that the Audi guys were very careful.
Yeah, it's not a qualifying session, of course, although Toyota treated it that. It was their fastest time of the week.
True.
For Lapierre.
For Lapierre, yeah.
Well, we had Hugh Chamberlain with us earlier, and his famous quote many years ago: "Nothing good ever happens in warm-up." There's a lot of that happened again this morning.
And we have one other question for you: has anyone in the race taken a rain tyre today?
Yes, I think the Alpine in LMP2.
Yeah.
They chose, unfortunately, a rain tire at one stage, and they had to come back a few laps later because the rain stopped completely, and it wasn't the right choice, right decision that time.
And you have a choice of 2 rain tires as well, don't you?
Yes.
A wet and a very wet tire.
And the wet and very wet. So they chose, of course, only the wet.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, it was not wet enough to be able to use that tire.
Final question, just what I've got you here. We've talked several times, and drivers have told me constantly about the temperature drop because of the long straights here. Can you put that into a degrees Celsius kind of idea? Are we losing 5 degrees of tyre temperature, or more or less? Is it marginal, or can it be quite large?
No, it can be. I would say between 5 and 10. And when the tires are used in their working windows, then the drivers don't feel it. But then when you start going out of the window, where you can feel it is after a straight line, when you have to put your foot on the brakes, and then you can feel the tire is not working properly, and then it's a sign that when you have to change and switch to the lower temperature tire.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, safety car, you have exactly the same situation, which is why the drivers work the brake so hard to try and keep heat in the tires.
Exactly.
And the final thing that people at home will know, of course, is that you don't inflate tires with air.
No, I mean, you could inflate the tires with dry air, which is very important. Is not to have any humidity in the in the tires, because if you have humidity, then the pressures go higher and higher, and then as you want to control the pressure, you have to be very careful. So either you put nitrogen or dry air.
So all sorts of things that your car tyre you never think about, but ooh, as we see the Porsche dive down the escape road. But 90 years ago, this race was created to test out Rudge Whitworth wheels and roofs on cars, and of course tyres.
Tires, yeah, of course.
And still, for the manufacturers, for Michelin and for the other tyre manufacturers and manufacturers every other component, this is a great test laboratory because it puts them under so much stress.
Absolutely, it's a great test because for a tyre maker, for example, you're going to encounter very different conditions, you know, through the 24 hours. Rain, dry, hot weather, very low temperature. So basically, you have to work on things that are going to be very useful for your everyday car, and that's why we like being here. And the other reason is that it's an open competition, so Michelin is not the only tire brand here, so we're competing with other brands. And then thirdly, I would say that the ACO and the FIA are trying very hard to promote new technology, and that's why you've got hybrid cars, that's why you've got, you know, Garage 56 cars with completely different technology, and they make the racing grounds a ground to develop new technology, and we love that, and that's the reason why we're here.
And that's the reason why our cars are a lot safer on the road. Nicolas, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
For coming with your tyres and for coming to talk to us as well. Fantastic insights there. Yeah. And again, you know, you just got to thank all the people that support motorsport across the world. We love it because of the excitement. We benefit from it because of exactly what this race was created for, to test and develop new technology for road cars. And you look at these prototypes here, as you see these battles, you think, no, really? Is this making any difference? 60 years ago, 1953, the first ever Le Mans was won by a car with disc brakes, like the ones on your car that stop you going into the hedge. About as uninformative a radio transmission as I think you've heard for a very long while. We'll let the Toyota team try and sort out their radio issues. We'll be back in just a moment with more live coverage. We have just gone over the 6 1/4 hours mark here in Le Mans, and more guests coming into our studio as it's getting close to dinner time. I don't know how we managed to drag them all away from the table. We'll be back with more coverage in just a second. Stay with us.
If you want, Mark, I'll pick that up, and you do Mike, okay? Welcome back. You join us with more problems for the 7 car. Alexander Wurz, he had, that 7 vehicle, the 7 Toyota, had electrical issues earlier on today. They rebooted it in track, but it seems like the gremlins may well have returned. As everyone settles down for their evening meals, as you can see, it's not been a pleasant time for Toyota. Audi, they're just going quicker and quicker, it seems. And in fact, some of the times that they're putting down right now are exceeding the speeds of Toyota during qualifying. That's how miserable it's got. So, problems for Toyota. They're being passed by GT cars at the moment. It's in the hands of Mr. Wurz and Mark Cole. We've got another guest.
Well, yes, it wasn't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all, would they? So, Mike Gascoigne, delighted you could join us. Of course, big interchange between Formula 1 and sports car racing. Caterham, you've brought Caterham here to Le Mans along with Greaves Motorsport in the number 41 car for Tom Kimber-Smith, who's obviously one of the most winning drivers in the history of Le Mans, Eric Lux and Alexander Rossi. Yeah. How's it all going today?
Okay, we had a slight problem. We had a bit of a suspension issue. Unfortunately, that cost us about 3-4 laps in the pits, but we were able to get it sorted out. And actually, since then, we've had Alex in the car for his first stint and first time at Le Mans. I think he was a couple of seconds a lap quicker than the whole of the LMP2 field. So he was obviously enjoying it. And we've now got Eric Lux in, who's doing a pretty sterling job for us. So it's a long race. I'm learning that as my first time at Le Mans. We were just saying an hour in, Monza was normally over in an hour and 20 minutes, and we've still got 23 to go. So
we've got, this is 16 1.5-hour Grand Prix, and it's all run at sprint race, sprint pace.
Absolutely, I mean, a great event, and obviously with Caterham announcing a new range of road cars. The 40th year of the Caterham 7, so a great time for us to be at Le Mans for the first time, and also evaluating what we can do for the future.
Now, Alex, of course, is your test driver in Formula 1. Tom Kimber-Smith's been here 3 times. He's won 3 times in his categories. Eric Lux, I think if I remember rightly, youngest ever driver to start the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona, 16 years old, and he comes from Buffalo, doesn't he?
That's right.
Known as the Buffalo Kid.
Yeah.
But a big learning curve. Now, obviously, a lot of rumours that you might be looking at LMP1 next year.
I don't think LMP1 at the moment. I think you look at it, you've obviously got people like Audi and Toyota with very big budgets, and we've got a Formula 1 team that needs a big budget as well. But I think certainly LMP2 is something we may look at from the point of view of coming as a constructor. It may make commercial sense for us. It's a cost cap formula, but obviously with a Formula 1 team, we've got aero departments, we've got composites departments, we've got design departments, and actually commercialising them makes a lot of sense. And also, obviously, if we're in LMP2, it gives us a lot of brand awareness as well for the launch of the new cars. Plus, maybe for the future, when the new car comes out, a GT version of that. But LMP1, I think that would have to be a little while in the future.
Now, Mike, you're an engineer, you've got an engineering background. We've got people like Lena Gade, she's won Le Mans 2 years running. So important. We encourage all these young engineers, and I know that you, as Caterham and Aston Martin, you're both now partners of the new Silverstone University Technical College, which is, it's a school, isn't it, where they start at 14, do the national curriculum, but alongside that you do engineering work, you do race, all sorts of race courses, maybe crowd control, anything like this. And Neil Patterson, your friend from McLaren, he's the McLaren designer, he's in April he was appointed principal, and he's bringing you all on board to make this work.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that you've got engineering, getting a profile in education is something that for me is very important. I was very lucky at school. I did engineering design at O-level and A-level, and it was a very rare course, though, and still is. But was invaluable for me as an engineer. And I think more practical engineering-based subjects around which all the kids are going to learn all their maths and sciences and normal things, but dealing with real practical projects set for them by outside companies like Caterham is something we're massively supportive of.
And of course, a chance to go to school at Silverstone. I mean, there's the new building right opposite the old pits. And Neil's telling us you've got students already booked for September from Wales, Scotland, Devon, all over the UK. And I think you and he and Ulrich Beck met up with Prince Andrew the other day, had lunch with him.
That's exactly right. I mean, Prince Andrew very supportive of it, which is great. And yeah, I drove past the building myself. I think I might go back to school myself. It looks so nice. But no, fantastic opportunity and for the children. It's great that it's inspiring kids to come into this sort of thing. And you know, it's something that we're very, very supportive of. And of course, once you've got Formula One teams putting you know, projects into those places, it's going to act as a great inspiration.
This is the big magnet, isn't it? The fact that you're involved, it's at Silverstone, and Carlton has got a 4-year-old Teddy. I mean, one day perhaps Teddy will be able to join in that in the school, because it's all going so well there. So really good project, well done, and all the best for the rest of the race. Where are you at the moment? 41 car, there it is, running 33rd at the moment, but Eric Lux gradually dragging it up the order, and there's a long way to go.
Absolutely.
Mike Gascoigne, Carlton, anything you'd like to say to Mike?
I just love what you're doing. I love your ambition as well. It's all right, but it's at the moment a little bit of a branding exercise, but you're a fantastic technology company. You've got a massive profile. You're in people's thoughts, very much associated with Lotus in the past, but making your own way on the global scene, and we love it.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, actually, if you come down to the pits, we've just launched a new range of carbon fibre push bikes. We've just announced a sailing team.
Steady, that's my other wing.
Yeah, we've just announced a sailing team, Caterham Challenge. I sailed solo across the Atlantic last November, and myself and Brian Thompson were doing a race from France to Brazil in November.
Fingers in so many pies. Remind me not to buy one.
Well, the bottom line, if it's moving and it's high technology, then Caterham want to be involved in it.
Well, Earth, Wind and Fire are on in around about half an hour. I suppose that's why you go. Are you entering the music business as well?
Tony Fernandez started in the music business, so we've got that one covered as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm working here, so Boogie Wonderland is not where I'm going to be, but fantastic. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Absolute
Thank you,
pleasure.
Mike. Well done. So that's the seamless joining of Formula One and the world of endurance racing here at Le Mans. What better place? Thank you, Mike Gascoigne. Thank you, Caterham.
Yes, indeed. We'll be seeing an awful lot more of those boys. You can believe that in the future. You've heard it here. Mark Cole, it's been a busy old night, and in fact they're queuing up good and proper to speak to us. I believe we've got the Murphy boys coming through to us in just a few moments' time. It has been electric, but let's just let everyone catch up with exactly how we stand here. Audis 1, 2 and 3, they're in that numerical order as well. Trullier, Duval and Jarvis it is at the moment. Toyota Verts and the Lola with Besh is currently running in 6th place, I've got to tell you. They've had their electrical issues, Toyota. Yes, 8 and 7, the way those cars are shaking down at the moment. They keep swapping performance, it seems, provided that they don't have any electrical glitches. Let's hope that does not continue.
Just remember, we might have 3 Audis at the top, but you've got 4 Toyota engine cars in the next 5 places. Stracker and the Honda-powered HPD, Johnny Kane in board. They managed to drag themselves up from 36th place on the grid, where they were sent because they hadn't met the 110% rule after such a disastrous qualifying for everybody. And Johnny Kane is now running a firm 7th. He's been there for the last 2 hours, ahead of Neil Janney, and that's the Rebellion Toyota that's had the problems.
As they refuel here, a lot of you are saying, why on earth do they do any other work while they're refueling? They're not allowed to. Fuel goes on first, and occasionally it looks like a long old wait. Depends on what sort of load they're taking. Incidentally, Peter Dunbreck is doing a fantastic job in the 97 Aston. He's holding everyone at bay, and believe me, they are on his tail. Richard Leitz is nearest man to him, just can't get past Peter Dunbeck, who's got such wide-ranging experience in a whole host of globally significant championships, and he's doing a fantastic job. He is leading the 8 GT Pro class at the moment, ahead of Leitz's Porsche, and the AM class, Parazzini it is with the Ferrari ahead of 3 Porsches just for now. We'll take a break.